Welcome to the Zenith Gymnastic Bodies Puerto Rico channel. In this episode, we're going to be working on a series of battery of tests that we do to diagnose mobility and strength in our clients to know, number one, how to program their workouts, how to program their recovery, and also how we can uh, manage goals in a reasonable timetable. So in this first clip, we got a one of our athletes doing a series of push-ups. In the first clip, that was his first time demonstrating push-ups. In this second one, as you can see, he's working with a different activation after some cues that we gave him. So I'm going to go back for a second. So when we have a client come in and they wanna do their work with us, the things that we diagnose in this example, it's the push-up. We're going to be looking for certain key activations. Number one, we're going to be looking at what occurs up in the shoulder girdle. Okay, and then number two, we're going to be focusing on what is going on in the rest of the body, in the body line, so we can get the most out of, in this case, push-ups. In any other case, it's the other exercises. So you probably remember from the upper body strength video or the straight body strength video that to keep a tight body line, what we do is contract the abdominals and then we contract the glutes. And when we do that, we're going to get a nice hollow position in the body. Okay, and then this maximizes the focus of this exercise, which should be the shoulders. Okay, so in the shoulders, we're going to be protracting and we're going to be straightening the arms and all the while keeping a straight body position. So after you send in your first video for analysis, or you show up at the gym and you say, hey, I want to train this and that, and we get to know you a little bit. After we look at your body, um, how it does the push-ups, we start giving you the form corrections. So as you can see here, Francisco's doing a really good job at protracting. Now he's protracting, and there's more activation down here at the abs and the glutes. This right here emphasizes that straight body line. So as you can see, he's got that protraction down and he's got the body line starting to come together, and then this leads to this type of form in the push-up. Okay, so two things that we can already notice from looking at the shoulder, okay, looking at the shoulder girdle, is that it really changes the intensity of the exercise. So as you can notice, his chest is not so close to the floor, which is something totally normal. Okay, and we can also see from the activation going on in the glutes and the abdominals that we see that there is a pronounced tightness in his quadriceps, and this moves us along the line of our battery of tests for movement analysis. Okay, so you send in your first video, we start focusing in on the key details of each individual exercise. After you get your cues on what you need to focus on, in this case, protract and keep a tight body line, it's going to highlight some deficiencies. The deficiencies will either be in the form of, okay, well, let's say you can do 5 repetitions of a proper push-up, but then when you first came in, you had a max number of exceeding 20. because you weren't doing it with the exact same form. So after we bumped up the intensity, we noticed that we can do less repetitions. So when I program the exercises, in this case, Francisco starts arching his back after the fifth repetition. I really only want him to focus for now on doing anywhere from 3 to 4 repetitions for 4 sets when we're doing these exercises. After maybe around a week, he'll start noticing that he can crank out more repetitions with proper form, and then, the workout will look a little bit more like 4 sets of 6 repetitions, but we're only counting perfect reps. Okay, so this is how we program the intensity. Okay, if you can do a certain amount of repetitions with perfect form, we're going to start focusing on using that number for generating our workouts. And then another thing that will be highlighted in the exercises is that there may be a deficiency in mobility. In this case, it's his quads. So now we're going to start programming specific flexibility protocols, so we can start working on the most obvious, or the most prevalent nuisance, so we can start improving form. Okay, so as you can see here, he starts doing a few push-ups, and then on that last rep, he's starting to arch. So here's an example of me focusing on both points of both the focus points of the push-up. I'm protracting through my shoulders. I'm also keeping a straight body line. Okay, and then we don't want to move on from doing push-ups unless we can do a certain amount of repetitions with perfect form. And that progress in each progression will lead to explosive growth, or explosive crossover to a host of other skills. So the reason that we want to do these push-ups properly, for example, when we're here at the bottom bent arm position, might be to improve our rows. Maybe it'll improve our dips. You see this position that my shoulder is making right here, where my shoulder is getting a lot closer to my hand. Well, this would help us with our dips. It'll also, the top position, when we do the protracted shape at the top, it'll make us better at handstands. It'll help us become better at planche progressions and stuff like that. So the reason that we want to focus on proper form is because these benefits will cross over to different skills. You'll notice from gymnastic strength training that we do a lot of hollow work with our straight body lines, and that's the reason gymnasts have really strong cores. Okay, so another reason why we want to focus on this form is because we want to be only investing as much time as necessary, not more than necessary. We always want to do enough. If you can get the same amount of progress from 15 repetitions than you get from 100, I would much rather do 15, because that saves on time, and time helps us recover. If we can recover more efficiently, we can train more often, and if we can train more often, we can adapt faster and reach our goals quicker. Okay, so I hope this information was useful to you and can lead you to further progress and further success down the line in your training.